I just like drop my, my glass of juice away.
Yeah, it can mean that. Shit could also mean that.
True, but I like better.
Yes.
What's your favorite item that you purchased for less than $20?
My last favorite purchase under $20 was a diffuser for my house. That's funny, but brought to us as well.
That's what's up.
Yo, high tops or low tops?
High tops for me.
Jacket or umbrella?
This is a tricky question because my fans might feel like I'm a hypocrite. I've made the most money off of a song called Jacket. Next.
Who's your number one beauty icon?
This is gonna sound very redundant and very cliche, but my mother. My entire concept of beauty came from her. I was always so intrigued by her. I wanted to dress like her. I wanted to look like her. I wanted to do my hair like her, do my makeup like her. She was a sales clerk for beauty products and perfume and makeup. It's so weird that it's come full circle that all of these ventures are things that I've extended my creativity to, and it has been a part of my brand overall. So I learned from the best. I had the best teacher, my mom.
Yo, what's the one part of the beauty industry you wish you could change?
I wish that the leaders of the beauty industry were a more diverse set of pioneers who have not just experienced the culture, but have experienced a negligence in the industry, whether it comes to their skin tone or skin type. I feel like there's so many voids to be filled, and we will only know that by the pioneers that have experienced those voids and the lack of their representation in the industry. And so I think by having an eclectic array of skin types, skin tones, different cultures and people and representations of religions and cultures, you would have the most information on where to go next.
Creamy ranch, sweet and sour, spicy buffalo, tangy barbecue. Each McNugget, a chance to diversify your sauce portfolio. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
The hardest part about working with me on Fenty Skin, I can tell you what that is. Not laughing the whole time.
The hardest part of working with you for Fenty Skin was getting your approval on your images, because your skin is pretty regardless. That's why we hired you, you know what I'm saying? They're like, I can't pick which one of my pores are smaller and which image. I'm just playing, but yeah, it's not hard working with you.
Hey, yo, what was your first red carpet look? Can you remember that?
Young, dumb, skinny. And the inspiration for my future and my evolution. This had to change. It's crazy. So, what's next?
What's your favorite look of mine?
Oh, you know what I really love? Those like bell-bottom capris with the bunny ear scully cat.
Oh, good looking.
I love that outfit so much. Like I wish I could wear that like as a girl, but I can't.
Yeah, you just have to.
Out.
Yeah, I was sure.
I mean, I could. I already have. But that outfit for sure is one of my favorites. It's so fun. It's so quirky and weirdo and you.
What's your favorite color to wear?
I love black, I love brown, I love gray. But I really, really love lime green. Lime green could be for anything. Makeup, nails, hair, outfits, different fabrics, different pieces of furniture. I love lime green.
Nah, I can't front lime green, go with everything. Like, I love that shit too.
All right, what's your favorite show to binge watch when you at home, like right now?
Oh my God, this is gonna probably be really embarrassing. You think?
Let the people know. We want to know.
No, but I don't know my favorite, but usually it starts with the Real Housewives of
Everything. The Real Housewives of everything, huh? Nice.
How do you stay mentally and inspirationally aligned? That's a good one.
being mentally and inspirationally aligned. I mean, it calls for two different sides of my brain and my spirit. Because one is a lot more logical. One is a lot of like talking myself into whatever I want to feel or whatever I want to evoke. Inspirationally, it's me, what I'm pulling in. It's like, what do I want to bring into my spirit, my mind, my logic, my being, my ideas, my creative space. That's where the inspiration goes. I want that to come in, and in a way it comes in one way and it's evoked through my art in another way, and that could be inspiration for someone else in the future. And so it's kind of just, those two things are kind of the yin and the yang and the core of who I am as an artist.
Facts.
Damn, that's a dope ass question. I've never been asked that shit. That's weird. I love this question. I feel like I just found myself.
What do you wish people were talking more about in the beauty industry?
The topic of inclusivity has become something that like our brand has like fallen upon just by sincere and organic perspective. Like my idea of beauty has always been like a Black woman. So the way that I've expanded that idea was doing skincare in a more gender neutral idea where men feel included as well, because men love their skin and they take care of it, but they feel obligated almost to only use products that are for men, because anything beyond that seems like it's just too feminine. It's not for them. They're not allowed. They don't have permission. And you came from the hood, but you pretty and you like your fashion, but like you represent a lot of male criterias, which they don't really allow themselves to be until they see their representation. And you've represented a lot of those men for me. Big deal for me to have you be a part of that.
Pleasure's all mine. I want to say thank you for, supporting me at a time when I just came home from jail. Thank you for identifying my beauty as a man, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate you, like for real though, Not only that, thank you for answering a lot of questions that I didn't really know. I really appreciate that too, I mean, this was tight. It was good catching up with you and everything.
Hey, shout outs to Vogue, shout outs GQ, shout outs Bad Girl Riri, shout outs Fenty Skin.
Shout outs ASAP, you heard? Yeah. Wow.
Alright guys, if you want to see the tables turn, just head over to GQ to watch me ask ASAP Rocky a bunch of questions face to face.
Hello, this is Catherine Zeta-Jones, and I'm so excited to be here today to share my life in looks with you. I've got so many cool photographs that I haven't seen in years, so I'm really looking forward to looking into them with you. 1987, playing the role of Peggy Sawyer in my gorgeous tap shoes. This was the very end of the show. The dress was actually a very light blue with little sequins running down it with a bright red lining, and my tap shoes were gold with a little touch of blue. I was the second understudy, never thinking I would ever get on to play. But from a chorus girl, I became the lead actress in a musical, which was my dream since the day I can remember. 1992, from Jeff Wayne's musical version of Spartacus, me looking gorgeously bronzed and very kind of Cleopatra-esque. In the desert in LA, this was like a beautiful kind of desert-scape with me dancing and singing in it. It was great. And then ironically, years down the line, I marry a man whose father is Spartacus, Kirk Douglas. So it's kind of weird and spooky and wonderful all at the same time. 1998 was one of those changes in my life. I left London. If I was ever going to give myself a chance to go to America, now was the time. Steven Spielberg calls me in for a casting of The Mask of Zorro. I got the role and my life changed again. So I got to wear the most beautiful costumes, wonderful costume designer, Graciela Maison, and she created the most beautiful, attention to detail, fabulous costumes for me. This particular dress that I'm wearing here, the lace was antique and all the embroidery was done by hand. It was my favorite deep red, and gold embroidery. It was the very first time that the two characters come together. It's tough to be in a corset. I never took it off because you work hard, you're dancing and you're sword fighting and it's 100 degrees in the shade in Mexico. I always keep thinking, it's on film forever. Because I know I'd be so pissed if I was in the cinema and I'd see that, that was the day that I had a really big taco lunch and I released my corset. Yeah, I can see. My waist isn't as cinched as it could have been in that scene, and it would have ruined the whole movie for me. I suffered for my art, and I would gladly do it again. I saw this Terry Mulgle dress, and it was in my favorite pink. There was such defined, sharp lines. So as feminine as this dress is, there's something very strong and acutely cut, It's just everything in a dress that I loved for this event at that time in France. It was pretty amazing. Unfortunately, I don't have this dress. I remember this dress had to go back to Paris because I think it was a sample dress for a show. And so it was kind of premiered on the red carpet. This dress, I have. I loved everything about this dress. This color, those Chopard diamonds. I love the way the tiny beads were all guided towards the split at the side. This is a prime example. Lovely killer shoes, but literally killer in the way that I could barely walk for 2 days. That's why I've made my own flats for Cassie Zeta-Jones. I want my daughter to wear this dress again. I just don't want to have the fear of me not being able to get into this dress again. So as a mother, I gladly contribute to my daughter's wardrobe by giving her beautiful pieces of art. Vintage Versace, no less. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be 20 years in November that I've been married. This particular dress was the beginning of a great memorable weekend. I wanted something that was fun. I wanted something that was black. And then Bagley Michigan were like, you can't wear black to your rehearsal dinner for your wedding, you can't. And then I saw this at the showroom. I went, it covers everything. It's floral, it's feminine, it's airy, it's super comfortable, and I've got some black in it. And so it was one of those dresses that was more elegant than some rehearsal dinners maybe, but it was such a kicking off, the beginning of such a special weekend for us that it was just perfect for that night. We do hold the world record for the longest wedding at the Plaza. When musicals are good on film, they're good. When they're bad, they're horrid. I was really lucky to be in the piece de la resistance of the musical movie making form. But this was really one of those moments where everything came together. The cast, the crew, the talent of Colleen Atwood. She'd come and watch me in rehearsals and she'd see how I moved and she'd know what she wanted to put on my hips so that when I moved, it would have movement. All that jazz is definitely my favorite. It's my favorite costume, it's my favorite song, it's my favorite dance. It's the song I get played to when I walk on the stage. I'm so happy that it's never gonna leave me. I remember shooting this cover with my partner in crime, Renee, and we were both very excited to be working with Annie again. It was always so great. I love the cream and the black. I love our skin coloring next to each other. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful cover. I love the fact that we're both wearing our fishnets. It's been a little homage to Chicago. I think I just found out I was pregnant in the shoot, actually. This was the end of that time. That capsule of madness, of craziness, but magic, In the joy of me being with child and being nominated for an Oscar that year, and Donatella made me this beautiful silk empire style dress, which was perfect. It hit me right under the bust. and it was flowy and comfortable, easy to sit in for a very long Oscar ceremony. It is beautiful in nature, tent-like in shape, and then I took home my golden boy. I remember the Queen Latifah and I came up out of a trap door, and as the crane was taking us up, I remember thinking, I've got 10 days to go before I give birth, and I'm standing on a crane being hoisted up with Queen Latifah to sing live at the Oscars. It's like, what? Shouldn't you be at home eating chocolate with your feet up, with your husband massaging your feet? Va-va-voom, man. It was pink to make the boys wink. Versace. This was a big premiere because we had everybody there. Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, you know, everybody. The dress was a very old Hollywood glamour design. It's Jean Harlow or Hedy Lamarr. It was all finely beaded, which hit the light. It was very delicate, but again, structured. When I'm in a dress, I like to feel like I'm in a dress. Maybe it's all the years of wearing corsets, but I like to know I'm in it. I'm zipped up, I'm cinched in the right places, then I feel very confident. This is a love letter to Versace, isn't it? And quite rightly so, because they've been with me through thick and thin throughout the years. But again, this is another iconic dress, and there was a lot of fabric in that skirt, but it was so beautiful and such a beautiful pastel shade. It was like a princess dress, and for me, this was one hell of a special night. To be nominated for a Tony and then to win the Tony for Best Actress in a Musical was an extraordinary thing for me. And you forget how clothes are important parts and iconic moments in your life. A great moment for me personally was when the Queen honored me with a CBE, which is a Commander of the British Empire. To have my husband with me and my kids going to Buckingham Palace, it was an extraordinary day. We all wear hats in Britain for these occasions, you just do. It's not that I frequent the palace very often, but when one does, one would wear a hat. I had Philip Tracy do my hat. Michael Kors, who's a dear friend of the family's and friend of mine for years, pretty much said, look, what about this with a great hat? I wanted something very simple, and it was a beautiful kind of putty silver, kind of very, very classic. Coming from watching movies, especially in my favorite, like the 50s and the 60s, movie stars went to the airport, they went to the airport. It was an event. They were just so chic and Jackie and Alice at the end. And anyway, this particular look, this is my classic Chanel jacket, and that's my collection of my Hermes bags, which I love, because I was flying to LA. My husband's behind me, if you look. He's the one giving the tip for the bags. Meanwhile, I'm strutting through the airport, front and center. Those boots, they were killer boots. Let me tell you something. I regretted wearing those boots that day because I had an almighty blister from another fabulous pair of shoes that will remain nameless. So I zip into one of the airport stores and I found myself a pair of flats made by Butterfly Twist, which is a British company. And that's how I'm now collaborating with them, making my own flats. Oh no, my husband's not paying the bell guy. My husband's signing an autograph. Sorry. This is my golden moment with my father-in-law at the Golden Globes. This dress is up there with my all-time favorite. It was sexy. I wore like a 1950s bathing suit pant that cut me at the hip bone. And the whole of it, the bottom was sheer except for the applique. And it was sliced right down to my breastbone, well, further down than that. It was the ultimate dress for me. It had something very special. And when my father-in-law saw me, his eyes went googly. He always flirted with me, but he said, that dress is magnificent. He kept saying to me backstage, who made the dress? And I say, Suhail Murad. Who made the dress? It's like not a name he was familiar with, I don't think, but it was a great evening. And we went on stage and he had, it, quite rightly so, a beautiful standing ovation that seemed to go on forever. I think that night was such a special night for him, being back on stage, being around his peers, and being with me that night. It was wonderful. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And so we'll start again from this day on. I'll see you in about 30 years. Hi, Vogue.
I am Salma Hayek, and today we are going to be looking at some of my most iconic looks throughout my career. Let's see what we have here. Okay, so this is 1996. Yes, that's how old I am. And I wore these to the MTV Movie Awards, and I think I was nominated for Best Kiss. I was wearing an interesting lipstick to be one of the nominees for that category. I like the look. It's kind of like a very sexy tuxedo. I really like the hair. I think I was channeling Ariana Grande before Ariana Grande was born. Okay. This Armani dress was the first time I went to the Oscars. It's the first time I presented at the Oscars. It's a very simple dress. At that time, not many people wanted to dress me because I was not that well known. And so I'm very grateful to Mr. Armani for supporting me at the beginning of my career. And I have to say that I decided I wanted to wear a tiara. And everybody told me I was crazy and it was ridiculous and it was going to be pretentious. And everybody tried to convince me not to do it, like my manager, my stylist, my publicist. And I wore the tiara anyway. And you know what happened? Everybody started wearing a tiara after that. And I never got credit for that trend. Never, ever, ever, because I was kind of an unknown. It's okay, I know. So this is 1997. This black Versace dress, I love, and I have very interesting memories about it because Johnny gave it to me, and I think it's a beautiful dress, and it fit me so well like a glove. I only got to wear it at the Met when we were doing homage to Johnny, who was also very generous to me. He was one of the first ones that invited me to his parties, and I think even a fashion show in New York, and I was just getting to know him when unfortunately he so tragically died, but I'm also very grateful that he supported me at the beginning of my career. This is MTV again, and it's 1998. And so I got this lovely, very simple black dress, and I didn't have that much jewelry at the time. So I decided to wear some tattoos, and I thought butterflies would be nice. So it was my design to make the dress more interesting. I was very proud actually to come up with something interesting. They were even really hard to come across, and I might have painted them. I might have had someone painted those tattoos because the stickers were not even probably existing in that time. And that was my style. Okay, this next one, it's 1999. I found this skirt somewhere and the shirt somewhere else and somehow put it together. And this is the thing, when you're young, you can get away with a lot. I made up this look with on top of it some purple pashmina, which were the thing at the time, the pashminas. Actually, at the very beginning of my career, I really struggled getting clothes and I couldn't afford it on my own. And the other girls were getting people to lend them clothes, but really nobody thought a Mexican was gonna stick around, so why give me a dress? But things have changed a lot since. So this is in Cannes, the thing I could put together, and again, it was taking a chance, nobody was doing this. I took a sweater that's supposed to be meant to wear with something underneath, because it only had 2 buttons, and a skirt, and made my own fashion style. Little did I know that Vogue one day was gonna say one of your iconic looks. And it was kind of like a lot of these looks, it was just my creativity trying to struggle with the fact that I didn't have a lot of resources. And I'm very proud that it was the imagination, that made me create these looks. This next one is 2002, when I did Frida, and this was in Vogue, and I was very proud to be part of Vogue for the first time in my life. This monkey, who was named Tyson, actually attacked me during the filming of Frida, and I was really severely injured. But I was brave enough to let him come back and work again in the movie. And then I still did a photo shoot with him for Vogue afterwards. I was really hoping he wouldn't go for my face. This red dress was made for me by my dear friend Narciso Rodriguez. And it was an important year for me because I was nominated for the Golden Globes. And I wanted to wear something fantastic. Why is Narciso? Convinced me that I should go just simple and pick a color that represented a little bit of my spirit. And so he just made the simplest but most beautiful red dress. And I think it was the way he explained it to me why he wanted to do this that actually gave me a lot of confidence to actually own it, you know? And I love that dress, and I love the love that came. I could feel the love that came to it from Narciso. Okay, this blue dress, it was again to present at the Oscars, and I'm very good friends with Penelope Cruz, and sometimes, and I'm sure when you have like your best friend, sometimes you think alike. And Penelope and I have this thing with many times we see each other to go out to dinner or something, and we're wearing the same thing or the same color or similar. Because we were presenting together this year, we did call each other and say, what are you wearing? So we make sure we're not wearing the same color or similar or you know. And so she was wearing strapless and yellow and blue, and we were very careful not to wear the same thing. But when we showed up, we realized we were doing this with the same hair. So after all that work, it was very funny. We had very similar hair, and it was hilarious. And at this time, I was really good friends with Prince. And this is one of the dresses that he liked the most. He was really into looking into what you were wearing. This is one of his favorite dresses that I've ever worn. So every time I look at him, I think of Penelope and Prince. Okay, so this Gucci number in 2012 in Cannes, what I remember is that I was super excited but super tired, and it's one of those moments where you just like, you've been working all day and now you still have to work at night, and I put more makeup on myself, and then once we left, I felt like a clown. And I was trying to hide at the party because it was just too much makeup. And then I went to the bathroom to try to rub it off, and it just got worse. And so it's not, the makeup is good, but I shouldn't have worn something so flashy with all that jewelry and so much makeup. And so, yeah, to live and to learn, but the party was great. This dress I wore in 2015 for the Gucci LACMA Gala, designed by Alessandro Michele at the beginning of his grand appearance at Gucci. And I just love that dress and love the Pepto-Bismol color, which maybe in some other time would have seemed like scandalous. I think it goes well with my skin. This dress was for when I presented at the BAFTAs in 2018. I love this dress. I love this dress. And I'm gonna tell you something, after suffering so much with what am I gonna wear, nobody wants to dress me. It's so nice that now I have access to like the best brands in the world, and I have to say that the Gucci team always know how to deal with my body and make it look good and what's best for me. And it's just so nice to have those fashion angels at my disposal that are so nice to me and really take care of me and look after me, and they are genius. And I always feel like excited to go to places now because you have something to wear. I love this one. This is the Met Gala 2019, and it's again Gucci, and I have to confess, I like to wear the crowns. I love to put something in my hair. I'm so glad that now Gucci and other designers are embracing the jewelry on the head. I love to decorate the head. Maybe it rubbed off from Frida, you know, who loved it so much, but Why not? Why just the hands and the neck? It's nice to put things that are shiny, bling bling on your head. I love that look. I know I was supposed to be more calm. But you know, now when I go to the Met, I don't try to compete. I try to enjoy the show. I don't want to be the star of the show. I just want to enjoy the show and just wear clothes that I love. Wow, it's been an amazing journey. To say, sometimes I look at the clothes I wore in the past and I go, what was I thinking? But then I feel proud of that girl that sometimes not with a lot of resources, had fun and took chances and tried to be creative. I do appreciate the artistry that goes around it and how it expresses who we are in different times of history. Thank you for taking me through my fashion history throughout the years.
Hello, Vogue. It's Brooke Shields. I'm going to take you through some of the most iconic looks that I have had over the years. I hope you're ready. The first one. Oh, yes. I was 12 years old at this time, and it was right after Pretty Baby and right before I did a movie called Tilt. And after Pretty Baby, my hair was so destroyed by the way they had to fuzz my hair up every day. And the night that we wrapped, I chopped all my hair off. And this was my fry boot era. I did not skateboard very well, but I liked carrying it around and pretending that I could. And I was about ready to go into 7th grade, which was terrifying to me. Next, oh God, look at those dance moves. This is a Studio 54 photo. I'm wearing a very high-waisted, pinstriped, you can't see the suspenders, but I was wearing suspenders. They might be a fancy pump. I'm not sure if they're a Chanel pump, and I'm sure if they are, I borrowed them from my mom because we had the same size shoe. I was 14 when I was dancing at Studio 54, as one does. I used to love whenever Warhol was there, because whenever Andy was there, because we're on a first-name basis, he always had his little camera, and so I always knew he was going to take funny pictures, and he never looked through the lens. He just would take pictures like this, and every now and then I would glance to the VIP section, and there would be somebody famous, Bianca Jagger or Baryshnikov or some supermodel, and it wouldn't be enough to get me off the dance floor. I gotta be honest. All I wanted to do was dance. Okay. This was for, surprise, the jewelry. This was for H. Stern. The idea was that after Pretty Baby, they labeled me the $1 Million Baby. Try to live through that in high school. It's fun. So they put jewels all through my hair and around my forehead. I was 16, so I was going to high school. We just drove in from the city. I had the appearance to do. It was over really quickly. And I took them off and went back to where I lived in Jersey and had my homework to do. I wasn't living the life that this person looks like they're living. Yes. Blue Lagoon. Not a lot of clothes there. The costumes on this in particular were actually crafted. They were really beautifully crafted because they were taken from vintage pieces that they had to make look worn. So a lot of them were just taped on my body or draped and then sewn on my body to look like they had been the only clothes that I had had. And you can also, if you look closely, he's all bronze and even, and every day at 4 a.m., I had to stand in this little wooden hut, and they had to take big sponges of body dye and dye my whole body to make it look like I had been there over 10 years. Okay. This was for the premiere of Endless Love. I had never worn my hair back like this. This was a skirt and little top. And it was a real party outfit in my mind. I could still dance in it, which was really important. And I wore my mom's earrings, which I still have, actually. I was just really proud of this movie and this moment, and I loved this look. And I got to sit next to Elizabeth Taylor. And Vogue Abaddon. And I remember thinking that this was the heaviest piece of jewelry I had ever put on my neck. This was sort of when Paloma Picasso, for me, was really just introduced as this extraordinary designer who was sort of crossing jewelry with art. It was sort of one of the first times I had ever really become cognizant of that. It was that very extraordinary thing where you did this whole amount of prep